Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 6th meeting of the Hyde Park Town Planning Board. It's also our first meeting of the year 2021. I first note that the meeting is being conducted as under the authorization of Executive Order 202.87 by Governor Andrew Cuomo. This allows for remote meetings of public officers. I also want to first thank the town board and my long-serving colleague, Ann Dexter. Ann signed up for another 7 years. And I want to thank the town board for reappointing her and also for reappointing me as chair. That noted, I first need to confirm that each board member is alone and not under any influence about how you might vote. Ms. DiNapoli?
I am alone.
Ms. Wasser?
I am alone.
Ms. Weiser?
I am alone.
Mr. Pickett?
I am alone.
Ms. Dexter?
I am alone.
Mr. Oliver?
I am alone.
Thank you. Please join me as we pledge allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for Hyde Park Town Center, also commonly known to us as Park Plaza. Making a motion to reopen the public hearing.
I open the motion. Brent Pickett.
I second it. And
All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
I.
Aye.
Nays or abstentions? There being none, public hearing is open. Ms. Leibolt is here representing the applicant. We've extensively reviewed this. There's been a lot of back and forth, and Ms. Leibolt revised the plans once again. We all had a chance to review them. Kelly, do you want to add anything?
I do not. I think I'm hoping we're at a point where we're close to a resolution, and I appreciate all the work that everyone's put in. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
We will see. Let me first start then with the consultants. Ms. Axelson, any further comments? Thank you for the memo. Those all went into conditions of approval.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is there a couple things to clear up about stormwater?
Thank you. Mr. Sotero?
No, I think that we covered everything in the resolution today.
Thank you. Ms. Moss?
I believe the sign area was an issue. I have not been able to follow anything this afternoon. The two major signs that are on the white background are the ones, the actual sign itself, the letters and symbols are within the allowance, but the background, the white background with the black frame makes it too large. So
We revised the resolution accordingly, so there will be two signs. What Ms. Moss discovered today is that the CVS sign and the Mid-Hudson Regional Early Children's Learning Center signs were both too large in terms of the allowed square footage. So they'll come back for those for sign permits once that's adjusted. Thank you, Ms. Moss. And Ms. Polidoro, any comments?
I wanted to remind the board that many moons ago, you issued a blanket waiver for signage at this plaza, so that the signs can go up, the letters on signs can go up to a certain size. And so all of these signs are within that blanket waiver that you granted. But we do have the issue.
Waiver. That wouldn't be a waiver. That was, we granted in advance a bonus for size based on design speed of the road, distance of from the building from the road.
Right. You decided that the building distance from the road is never going to change. And so we didn't need to go through this every time a new application came forward. However, those two signs are too big. So they can either get a variance or they can modify the sign and they'll be treated separately. The other issue that is somewhat unique with this application is that you are it's drafted in the resolution so that you can recommend issuance of a temporary CO once the build out is complete, except for the plantings. The applicant has indicated that they are hoping to open in March, and it just won't be appropriate to plant the boxwoods and the other shrubs during the winter months. And so this resolution includes authorization for a temporary CO and a bond amount that was reviewed by Pete Sotero.
And we have a letter from Mr. Sotero for the file as well, acknowledging formally that it's acceptable. Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any one of you? Or questions for Ms. Leibolt? Going to call on anybody individually? Ms. Dexter?
I just wanted to say that I like the progress of the facelift. It's looking really nice, even though it's in progress. You can see that it's a subtle but lovely change. And I wanted to thank you and the owners again for taking this on. And the detail with the site plan, I think, continues to improve every time we look at it. So it is becoming a really great property. And I know we can work through these last little issues because anyway, and then you'll be back.
Thank you.
Yes, they will be, as has been noted. I have no comments either. Mr. Krupnik, did anyone sign up to speak about this application from the public?
No, sir.
Thank you. I will note for the record that throughout this process, no one has spoken about this particular application. Therefore, we're prepared to close the public hearing, and in lieu of keeping a 7-day period open, we're going to go ahead and consider the resolution tonight for approval. Making a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Seconded, Brent Pickett.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Nays or abstentions, I saw everybody raise their hand. Thank you. And I believe this resolution will be introduced by Ms. Weiser.
Yep. Town of Hyde Park Planning Board, resolution to grant site plan amendment approval and authorizing issuance of a temporary certificate of occupancy, Hyde Park Town Center Plaza, Phase 2, January 6, 2021, resolution number 2020-15C, whereas now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby grants site plan amendment to phase 2 of the project as shown on the site plan set and recommends issuance of signed permits with the exception of those for CVS and Mid-Hudson Regional Early Learning Center, subject to the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees in escrow. 2, submission of a complete site plan set for signature, which includes sign elevations. 3, revision of the landscaping plan to indicate that minimum size of boxwoods is 1 gallon instead of 1 quart. 4, revision of the site plan set to include a note indicating that unused tenant panels on the directionary sign shall remain blank. 5, revision of the site plan set SP-1 to show how the roof leaders in the southeastern corner will be redirected into the planting bed along the front or south side of building 1E. 6, revise the plans to address the following stormwater issues. A, revise sheet SP-1 to clearly state that the soil will be amended in every planting bed along the front of building 1E as specified in the landscape bed bioplanter cross-section on sheet LS-1. B, revise sheet SP-1 to include a note referring to the landscape bed bioplanter cross-section on sheet LS-1. C, revise the landscape bed bioplanter cross-section on sheet LS-1 to clarify that all soil will be replaced by a minimum of 18 inches of leaf compost. D, revise the note about proposed bioplanters on sheet LS-1 near the northeast corner of building 1E to clearly identify the total area of planters that serve as bioplanters, the dimensions and areas in square feet of each. Be it further resolved that prior to the zoning administration authorizing either a temporary or permanent certificate of occupancy for the phase 2 improvements, the applicant shall provide a plan revising the grading between the south end of the building 1E and the playground to the satisfaction of the planning board engineer and stormwater management officer, and shall implement such approved changes. Be it further resolved that upon completion of all site plan improvements except for plantings, the planning board recommends that the zoning administrator authorize a temporary certificate of occupancy for the phase 2 improvements upon acceptance of the town board of a security guarantee in the amount of $20,750 to ensure that the landscaping improvements shown on the site plan set will be installed by June 1st, 2020 in the form and manner of execution acceptable to the town board and attorney to the town.
That's
No
supposed to be
Oxford commas there.
2021.
Sorry,
June.
2021.
Yep.
June 1st, 2021. Just change that.
Oops. That just goes to show you how many times we've reviewed this one and none of us caught that one. Sorry. Is there a second?
Second, Brent Pickett.
Before I ask for a vote, I just want to point out that condition 5A, where it says that this will be amended in every planting bed on the front of building 1E, that would be the side that faces Route 9 or the west-facing side, because there's actually sort of two fronts. The in-tenant Mid-Hudson Regional, its front faces south because that's the main entrance. It was the same thing when it was Williams, but all the rest, except for the current Mid-Hudson Regional, all face to the west. And just to explain, the be it further resolves will allow the applicant to pull a building permit once the plan notations, which the prior comments are done. It will give them the time to go ahead and start the interior work. They can work with Mr. Sotero and Ms. Moss to resolve the grading issues for stormwater. And it will allow the town board to not have to have a quick meeting, because now to accept the bond, they just have to do it before they get the CO. So this should all move quickly. Maybe not quickly, but at least smoothly. So, and I want to thank the consultants for all the work today, the back and forth to get this ready to go. So, all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly and Amy. It was a little bit of a long journey, but we got to a great place. And I agree with Ann. I think the site's going to really function well, and I can't wait to see the new business open.
Thank you, everyone, for being so creative these last few days and trying to make this difficult. I'm glad we brought it up last month. So we're looking forward to getting this tenant moved over. And I think the new Hardy is going to be going on to the exterior of the building soon. So you'll probably see a bigger transformation over the next few days.
I tell you, I drive by and I see workers on Sundays. I'm like, wow. So they're really working on this. So thank you.
Yeah. They're trying to. Well, again, we had said we were trying to get this done during the better weather. So since it's been warmer, they're really pushing to get that. It's the cement fibrous material up before, maybe it gets real cold in February. So fingers crossed.
Let's hope we keep the 40-degree weather then.
Yes. But thank you, everyone. Happy New Year.
Thanks. Have a nice night.
Take care.
Next item on the agenda, there will be no public hearings past this. The next item on the agenda is to consider site plan amendment approval for Belvedere Inn, or Belvedere New -2016. We had a resolution prepared at the last meeting. However, we were down to 4 members, and we were required by county planning to have a supermajority, which means a vote of 5. Anyone have any questions or comments on this application? Mr. Smith, you're here.
I'm here.
Great. Any comments from you? Questions?
No, I don't have any comments or questions since the last meeting where we considered this.
Thank you. Then this will be introduced by Ms. Wasser.
Thank you. Resolution to grant site plan amendment approval, the Belvedere Inn, January 6, 2021, resolution number 16-29E. Whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the planning board hereby determines that the project as proposed will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby grants site plan approval to the project as shown on the site plan set and authorizes the chair or his designee to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees in escrow. 2, I think that should say 2, revision of the site plan set to provide a shield or lower the bulb wattage on the existing fixture identified as POE-05. The source producing 12.3 foot candles, which is adjacent to the front drive, to no more than 2 foot candles. Be it further resolved that the wattages and number of fixtures approved in the site plan set are the maximum permitted, and there shall be no increase in wattages or lumens or fixtures without site plan amendment approval.
Second, Chris Oliver.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously with no nays or abstentions. Thank you. Thank you, Warren. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And good luck with this site. This may be back before us too, you never know.
Just might. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is Cardinal Used Auto Parts. Again, this application was extensively reviewed and discussed, referred to Department of Health. We're ready to take action tonight. Ms. LaBrute, I believe, and Mr. I'm going to say your last name wrong again, Ramon Leite. He's not able to speak. At any rate, this will be introduced by Ms. DiNapoli.
Yes. Resolution to grant special use permit and site plan approval for the Cardinal Road Auto Parts LLC, January 6, 2021, Resolution 2020-20A, whereas 10 times. Therefore, be it resolved that the planning board makes the following findings pursuant to section 108-8.4 of the zoning law. 1, the project will comply with the applicable requirements of Articles 4 and 5 of the zoning law. A scrapyard has been operating at the property since the 1970s, and a scrapyard is permitted use in Greenbelt District. The project will meet the Greenbelt standards in section 108-5.3 of the zoning law. 2, the project is consistent with the purposes of the zoning law. A scrapyard is a permitted use subject to site plan and special use permit approval. The facility will comply with the requirements for a scrapyard, including screening and maintenance of a 50-foot buffer. 3, the project will not result in any excessive off-premise noise, dust, odors, solid waste, or glare. 4, the project will not cause significant traffic congestion or overload existing roads. The property will be accessed by up to 3 employees daily and receive 2 shipments of vehicles of trailers a day. There will be no significant increase in traffic from the project. 5, the proposed use is suitable for the site at its proposed intensity. The proposed change to operations at the site will increase safety by delineating aisles and eliminating existing encroachments into the required 50-foot property buffer. Be it therefore resolved that the planning board hereby grants the applicant a special use permit for a scrapyard, which will expire 1 year from the date of this resolution. Said special use permit shall not be renewed by the planning board unless all landscaping has been installed in accordance with the approved site plan set. If the zoning administrator confirms that the landscaping has been installed by January 6, 2022, the special use permit shall renew automatically without further review from the planning board and shall not therefore thereafter expire. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby approves the site plan set and authorizes the chair or his authorized designee to sign the site plan set after compliance with the following conditions. 1, payment of all fees and escrow. 2, revision of the site plan set to include the following note. In the case of a catastrophic event, such as fire, hurricane, or tornado that damages or destroys more than 0.5 acre of vegetation, cumulative, as determined by the zoning administrator, the applicant shall return to the planning board for review and approval of an amended site plan to ensure that an adequate screening is provided around the perimeter of the facility.
Second, Ann Dexter.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I should have noted that we did wait 7 days and did not hear any further comments from anyone, so we were free to take action tonight. All in favor, please raise your hand again and say aye.
Aye.
Ayes or abstentions? No. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Karen and Ramon.
Thank you very much.
Good luck opening the business. And this way you have a year in which to install the landscaping without having to get a temporary anything. So
Thank you.
we're gratified.
Well,
Thank you.
Welcome to Hyde Park, Ramon.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
To you guys
Happy
as
New
well.
Year.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is an application for a site plan waiver located at 4419 Albany Post Road. This is adjacent to the entrance to the, well, almost adjacent to the entrance to the Vanderbilt Estate. There's an intervening public park, Doty Park there. We have a recommendation from Ms. Moss. This is not visible from the river or directly from any of the historic sites. And it involves a window replacement and a porch enclosure to the rear of the property. Everyone have a chance to take a look at the materials that were sent out by Ms. Whitman? Thank you. As always, Mr. Owens has great taste. It's going to be really beautiful. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
It's going to be really nice. That's a beautiful, ever since he's restored that, it's just a beautiful addition to the town. I believe this is going to be introduced by Ms. Dexter.
Yes, it is. Site plan waiver for John Owens, 4419 Albany Post Road, January 6, 2021. Resolution number 2021-01. Whereas an application requesting a waiver of site plan has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by John Owens on December 7, 2020 for property located at 4419 Albany Post Road in the Town of Hyde Park. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the file entitled Owens regarding the specific request as submitted to the Planning Board on December 7, 2020 for this project. Do I have a second?
Seconded, Brent Pickett.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries unanimously. Sorry about that. I had the pleasure of introducing the next resolution, Resolution 21-A, January 6, 2021. Now be it resolved that Ann Dexter be designated the Vice Chairperson of the Planning Board, authorized to conduct meetings of the Planning Board and to sign final plats, site plans, and related documents, including invoices and correspondence on behalf of the Planning Board in the absence of the Chairperson.
I second that.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Raise 2 hands?
Yes. Thank you, Ann, for serving again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we need a series.
It's a pleasure. It really is.
I agree, but you know, you and I, actually, everybody on this board now are land use junkies, let's face it.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Ann.
And it's what's really nice, I can say this truthfully, for Ann and I think all of you have been serving longer and longer, is many boards, if you don't serve your full term, you don't get a chance to see what you've been voting on. Whereas for us, we've been here long enough that we can see the history of what's been changing. And I personally think Hyde Park looks better than ever. Just today, I saw someone from, I believe, the town taking down the Christmas decorations off the poles. And I thought, wow, we used to get complaints about the fact that they were still up by Easter. So things are humming along here nicely right now. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of November 4th, November 18th, and December 2nd?
Yes, and again, can we just thank Cynthia for, and you, Michael, and everybody. That's a mammoth undertaking. Thank you.
Cynthia and I have a good time actually trying to figure out which is the funniest of the terms that are switched around. We can go into lots of them, but they're really hilarious. Warren Temple Smith was renamed, I'll just say a vulgarism at one point. I thought, uh-oh. So anyway, Megan, a motion to approve the minutes for November 4th.
I'll make that motion. Ann Dexter.
Sorry. Second, Stephanie Wasser.
Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Megan, a motion to approve the minutes for November 18th.
So moved, Stephanie Wasser.
Second, Ann Dexter.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand again. Say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And Megan, a motion to approve the planning board minutes for December 2nd, 2020.
So moved. Diane DiNapoli.
Second, Chris Oliver.
Thank you. All in favor? Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And I think we need a motion to go into executive session quickly.
So moved. Diane DiNapoli.
Thank you. Is there a
Second that.
second?
Second that.
Thank you. Consultants, if you want to go, you want to pop off, we'll see you at the next meeting or at the agenda
Merry
meeting.
little Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Right.
See you later. Good night.
Thank you.
Night, Pete. Bye,
Sure.
Liz.